Marianne SIWEK has lived in her tiny one-bedroom apartment for more than 35 years. She says living conditions became unbearable in 2013 after the building was sold and the new landlord began to renovate.
This is where the ceiling caved in.
But even when she was offered $10,000 to leave, she refused to give up her rent-stabilized lease, which limits how much landlords can charge her for rent.
I really didn't have a lot of money to find another apartment or look someplace else. You know, this is my home, so where was I going to go?
She didn't know her landlord was Jared Kushner until she hired a lawyer to sue and won a year's worth of free rent and new appliances. Kushner has since stepped down as CEO of the family business to work in his father-in-law's administration. But now the Manhattan-based Kushner Companies is accused of lying about the presence of rent-regulated tenants on more than 80 work permits at 34 buildings over a 4-year period. Tenants advocates say doing so allowed them to avoid greater oversight, including surprise inspections of construction projects.
It appears that Kushner Companies deliberately used invasive and destructive construction practices to harass tenants out of their apartments. And to hide what it was doing from the government, it had falsified not 1, not 2, not 3 permit applications, but 80 permit applications.
Lying on permit applications is a crime punishable by a fine or imprisonment. Kushner Companies bought this building in Queens in 2015, renovated it, and sold it just 2 years later for $60 million, a profit of nearly 50%. During that time, the number of rent-stabilized tenants dropped from 94 to 25. Kushner Companies didn't respond to our request for an interview, but told the Associated Press, who first reported the story, that the mistakes were unintentional clerical errors.
For Kushner Companies,
City Council member TORRES, who launched an investigation, said the actual number of rent-controlled units could be found in other city documents.
Falsifying building permits is not simply about bureaucratic paper shuffling. It is a profound threat to the affordability of rent-regulated units, which is the greatest source of affordable housing we have.
SIWEK says she's just one of a handful of tenants who didn't leave during the renovations, and the new ones are paying 3 times what she does in rent. Kristen, Saloomey, Al Jazeera, New York.